During a crisis, it's completely normal to feel stressed, overwhelmed, confused, scared, or even angry. Here are some tips to help you manage stress. Social distancing? Look at the bright side. You now have more time for yourself and your family. You can finish that book, watch a movie, pick up that indoor hobby again, make and watch TikTok videos, try something new with your partner, and play with your children. Embrace the opportunity to know yourself and family some more. You can also connect with friends and family using social media. Begin or maintain a healthy lifestyle. Eat fruits and veggies, take your vitamins, sleep, exercise, stay hydrated, and keep away from alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, and other drugs. If something stresses you, process, understand, and change what you can. Let go of what you can't. Limit the time you spend watching and discussing COVID-19 related information from unreliable sources on social media. Instead, get your updates from local networks. Though first reaction might be to panic or become anxious, always remember, this too will pass.
This message is brought to you by ABS Television and Radio.
Well, welcome back to Antigua Barbuda. Today we're talking to Vee Roberts now. We're talking about strategies to help grow your business. Now, we spoke to Mr. Garfield Joseph yesterday about applying for funds from the Entrepreneurial Development Fund to grow a business, to start a business. And he was talking about moving from phase 1, which is starting the business, to phase 2, which was more managing the business and mentoring that's to be offered to those persons who are engaged in entrepreneurial activity. So now Vee Roberts joins us and we're going to talk about those strategies that she would recommend for our businesses. Good morning, Vee.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I am good. I am good. You're back on virtual. Last time we spoke to you, you were in the house, and now you are back virtually.
Back in the UK, yes.
All right. How are things there? Let me start with that.
Not too bad. I mean, we're still on lockdown. Some people have gone back to work, but as you know, I'm self-employed, so I work from my home office. Not too bad.
No, okay, good. That's a good thing. Now let's talk about growing your business. Let's talk about that because as we said in the introduction, a lot of people have been applying to start a business, but not so many people are very familiar with how to actually grow that business to ensure that it survives. What are some of the tips that you would offer?
Well, I think one of the first things is if you're already running a business and you're looking at how to grow it, it's important to acknowledge that you need to review where you are. So that's the first thing I would say, is to review what you're doing at the moment. So if you've been in business for even 6 months, 6 weeks, a year, 6 years, 60 years, what you need to do at this time, because of the climate we're in, is to review it. So to consider really what you're doing when it comes to your processes. Have you got the right processes in place? Do your staff need to be trained on the new aspect of the business in terms of operations and performance? Do you need to look at how you're showing up online? Because as we're aware, the climate is almost forcing a lot of us now to use online. You know, how do our transactions take place? Are they via the internet mainly, or are they offline? And if so, you know, how can we bring some of those offline activities more online in terms of e-commerce and, you know, website and social media? But a full review is very important to start off with, because it then helps us to make informed decisions about what we need to do next. So looking at basic things like sales results, looking at your inventory of products that you may already have in your store box or in your warehouse, looking at orders, looking at the number of telephone inquiries you get, even looking at basic things like website hits and where your traffic is coming from on your website, if you have a website, and even on your social media, being aware of your analytics. So looking at basic things like the best time to be online. A lot of the Caribbean community do a lot on Facebook, for example, and Instagram in terms of business. You know, is that fruitful? Are they seeing genuine results? Because if they're not, actually being able to grow your business requires you to draw a line under certain things and start doing new things. There's absolutely no point in trying to grow a business if we're always doing the same thing over and over again and seeing zero results. So I would say first thing you want to do is review your business, all aspects of it, from the operational side right through to the back end, things you do offline, right through to the actual marketing of it as well. Because as you know, if you don't have a way to promote your business and you don't have a solid brand, you will struggle with getting consistent sales or even getting people to ask about what it is you even do. So I would say a business review is very important. And then I would say as well, looking at the goals that you want to set for yourself over a specific period is also important. So once you've reviewed your business, get very clear on what you want for yourself or for your team or for your company. Yeah, who do you want to collaborate with? Who do you need to speak to? Is there an echo, by the way?
No, well, it's a very large room. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So who you want to collaborate with, who you might need to speak to, who you might need to get feedback from, you know, in terms of research. And before plowing into the next idea or making any tweaks, just getting very clear on some goals. So setting yourself some measurable goals. You know, a lot of the Antiguan and Barbudan community are on Facebook, for example, selling cakes, selling gardening services, selling hair, selling nails. But a lot of us are doing that without even really thinking about what we want for our business. So how many clients do we want each month? How many bookings do we really expect to get in this climate? What are we going to do to ensure that we get our message out to the right people? These are the kinds of things we need to be doing in terms of goal setting with specific measures. So people are actually clear on, okay, you know, I want to get 12 calls through this month. I want to do 10 consultations for the year. So how do I need to implement that in my business? What does that look like in terms of the branding and marketing activity? And believe me, it's way more than just showing up on social media and spamming group. It's way more than that. And this is something I really want to try and drive home to business owners. We have to be doing more than just social media. So once you've done your full business review and you're honest with yourself, I would say then set yourself some measurable goals with specific deadlines.
All right, that sounds like a business management degree in 5 minutes. But let's try to break it down here. Let's go back to the first point. Let's go back to the operational side, because we're all in business to make money. That should be the end result. Of course, we make money by minimizing costs, by attracting customers, etc. Now, in terms of the operational side, how do you suggest that persons are able to minimize their costs?
Well, I'll probably get shot in the foot for saying this, but looking at things like your overheads, and also looking at things like your costs of manufacturing products, or even the time you're spending doing certain tasks that you may be able to outsource and save money on. And I know that sounds a bit backward, but that is also something people should be looking at. So if you know you spend lots of time, for example, doing social media, you spend like 7 hours a week when you could be baking cakes or, you know, creating a new wedding dress, then maybe you should outsource it to someone who can get it done quicker to reduce the time you spend on that task, so that you can make more than one wedding dress, if that makes sense. So looking at what you're doing in terms of operations isn't just about striking staff off. It's also about looking at efficiencies of working. So the best way to work, processes that you can implement, but also things that you can do to reduce budget and time, because it's not just about stripping costs. It's also about time management as well. And I do want to say, for me anyway, being in business isn't just about getting the sale. Because as some people will already know in the community, I do a lot of free things that don't result in sales. I do a lot of relationship building that may then result in a referral. So someone might say, you know, go to Vee, she's really good at branding and marketing and social media, but they may not actually spend with me themselves, but they may pass me information or give me a referral. So the end goal for me when I make a conversation with someone isn't always about the sale. It's actually about connecting with people and actually helping them first. That's the primary reason why I do what I do personally.
Yes. Now, if you're in business, you obviously have a brand, whether you identify with that or not. Talk about protecting your brand, maintaining the sanctity of your brand in particular.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of brand management, you have to be your own brand police. So, you know, if we ever went past a KFC and the letters KFC, which I know is a brand that's very popular in Antigua and Barbuda, it's known anyway. If that was then CFK and the font was all squiggly rather than the very big, bold, masculine text that we see next to the Colonel's face, we'd be thinking, what's going on? So when I'm talking about brand policing in this instance, I'm talking about understanding how your brand shows up in terms of brand reputation and brand management. And one of the things that I would say is one of the easiest ways to manage your brand is just to be mindful of the things you're doing and saying online, the kinds of conversations and gossip you're sharing online. I'm in a lot of the groups that are run in the Caribbean, not just in Antigua and Barbuda, but also other areas of the Caribbean. And one of the things I know is that we're not so mindful about what we share when it comes to personal and business content online. And so in terms of looking after your brand, my advice would be, look at how you want to show up. Think about what you're saying before you post, because everything on the internet stays on there for a long while, even if you delete it in some instances. And also have a way that you show up. So have brand colors, have a palette, have a tone of voice. These are just basic things. And they're things that are actually overlooked a lot of the time. And then we wonder why people don't actually understand what we do as a business, because we don't communicate what we want to and what we should be communicating as a business owner.
All right, V. All right, that was a mouthful. Unfortunately, we've got to go live to something happening right now locally.
No problem.
So we've got to go. Loving the fashion sense today. You got dressed up to talk to us. I like that.
No, you know what? I never got dressed up for you. I was live on my other feed before I came on here.
Come, you could have gotten dressed up for us, V.
Sorry,
Come on.
sorry. Well, I knew I was going to be speaking to you as well. But if anyone wants to catch up with me, I'm on Insight, the #2 marketing. Insight, the #2 marketing. Or you can search me under hashtag AskI2M for Mike. All right?
Excellent, excellent. We look forward to talking to you again. You're very welcome,
And
V.
you too. Take care. I'll see you soon, hopefully.
All right. Yes,
Bye.
indeed. All right, Vee Roberts
Bye.
there. Of course, brand and marketing consultant. We've got to go live to